Steve.
Hi, Vesna.
I have one question very important for a lot of artists today.
Okay.
Is how to become a full-time artist. What is your view on that matter?
Right. Okay. Well, that's a really good question. I have to. I suppose the first thing I would say is I'm not a full-time artist. I mean, it's the only thing I do, but I know a few full-time artists who get up in the morning and go to work, and they spend 8 hours, 10 hours in their studio, and they view their art life like that, and it works really well for them, and they're very productive. I have to confess to being a bit lazier than that. So, I'm professional in the sense that I sell work through a London gallery, and it's so professional in that sense. I'm not. I'm just cautious because I know I'm not as full time as some of the full time artists out there. But I think it is a challenge. There and looking at the full time artists that I know that are making a success of it in terms of being able to generate a living, it is a lot of work. So I think really probably one of the most important things is show up. Get into a routine, produce lots of work. But the work that you produce, well, in fact, this goes back to your interview, Vesna, when you talked about the quality of the work being important. I agree with that. So I always, my personal view is, I think whatever you produce, it's not about putting it on Instagram and rushing to get something out. Try and produce the best thing you can, and that takes you as long as it takes. But the quality of that will be obvious. So when you're approached by, or you take that work to a gallery, and the gallery director or manager sees it, it's going to be much more appealing to them. And if it's appealing to them, then it's going to be more appealing to their customer base. So I think doing the best work you can is important. I did once have a gallery manager say to me, I was sort of gently asking them about what they look for, and one of the gallery owners said, one of the things we're looking for is well crafted work. He was looking for work that people had spent time and effort in making a quality product. So, I mean, I think that you can probably debate that point depending on what sort of art it is, but the sentiment was quite interesting to me. So I think it's important to produce as much as you can, but try and produce quality work within that time period. And I think probably the other thing I would say is it all takes time. It's not, in my experience again, and the artists that I know that are full time, it didn't happen overnight. So they spend time honing their craft. They get better and better at it. Well, an example, I'm sure she won't mind me mentioning her name, but there's an artist called Claire Law who paints quite large pieces of oil paintings, quite large pieces, but she does it all with a tiny palette knife, and it's quite a unique style. It's beautiful. Her work's gorgeous, but it's quite unique, and she's she's an expert at what she does because she's done it for so long. And I suppose so. Whatever it is that you do, you keep learning and you keep refining your craft, and you get better and better, and you get quicker. And hopefully the product will be appealing to the public, the art buying public, and to galleries. So I don't think it's necessarily a quick journey. It can take time. And the thing I would say, really, particularly for people trying to grow some gallery outlets for their work, is don't give up. Just be gently persistent. And the last thing I would say as well is that, and it's quite hard to quantify this, and I've said this to some people, they've looked at me a bit sideways. What's he talking about? But for me, I do believe that in some way you can tell if a piece of work has had time and love put into it. So what I would say is that along this journey, you might be working hard and you might be having other things going on in your lives. You might be fed up with it. But try to, when you step through the studio door, try to just re-find that love you have of painting and make, and try your best to make sure that comes onto the page or the canvas or whatever it is that you're painting on. Because I do think it matters. I think you can tell. And let's face it, it's a much nicer way to be. If you're enjoying the art and you're loving the art, the studio remains that safe space that and none of us want the studio to be a space where you just kind of like, oh no, I've got to go in there and do this. That's not why any of us started. So it's about sort of keeping it that space where you love going to, producing your thing. So try not to let that journey to full-time artist change that too much. Is what I would say. But anyway,
Yes.
that I guess it's a long answer, but there's a few bits in there that I don't know, might be of help to people.
Yes, Steve, I completely agree with you, completely. And also on the part, don't give up. A friend artist said to me, he helped me a lot at the beginning. He didn't know me, but he helped me anyway. He is producing my style of artworks, and he wrote to me, your artworks are really great, your paintings are great, do you work with the gallery? And I said, no, I don't. And he said, well, you should, and contact the galleries, and if they say no, you ignore that, you don't mind, because you just need one yes. So don't give up. I completely agree on that.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's nice to hear, Vesna. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very
See you.
welcome.
Chat with you soon.
Cheers, Vesna. Bye.
Cheers.